Hi guys, it's Rob from Gruppe-RS. Behind me is the latest Mazda 6. Now, believe it or not, this generation's been around since 2012, and even now it looks remarkably fresh. It's aged really well, Mazda's Kodo design. Now, this car has been winning awards all over the world, including here in Singapore. It's won SG Carmart's Best Family Car in 2018 and 2019. Some of the great things about the car is the way it drives. I think Mazda's done always a really good job with its steering feel, even in a large family sedan. The other thing about it is its price point. So for a full-size car, it's very luxurious and well built inside. It's still very affordable. Now, we're not here to talk about the car today. So what we're here to talk about is actually, I'm going to pull out some notes, is actually the Falken tires. So the Falken ZE310R EcoRun. The good points that they've noted about this Falken tire since the last economy tire that they've made is they've used 4D nanotechnology to really improve the compound. And their claims include excellent traction and grip on wet and dry roads, enhanced resistance against aquaplaning, shorter braking distances, improved wear life, and further improved noise reduction. Anyway, we'll go test it out. Okay, I've got a toy with me here. It's a sound level meter. So I'm measuring in decibels how loud it is inside the cabin. You can see with me talking, it's around the 70 decibel mark, but I can put it on min here and see what it is. Oh, shut up. Okay, so without me talking, it's about 38, let's say, decibels. And I'm gonna test what the noise is like on the open road. Okay, so we've done a mix of driving. We're on some more open road here, and I haven't got my eyes on the sound meter. I've got Scott behind me, our production guy. So what's the decibel reading you got there?
Currently it's going at 60.
So about 60 decibels. So that's pretty good. I think, you know, we compared it to my normal talking voice, and it's definitely lower than that. So you don't have to strain to talk in the cabin with the road noise from these tires. I will touch on the comfort of the tires. So you might have noticed that this Mazda's riding on some aftermarket Stamford wheels, but we've been, you know, cautious to check that the tire profile on these Stamford wheels is the same as the tire profile that's on the factory rims, so we can compare them evenly. Sometimes when we get a tire that's got a skinnier side construction, like a smaller profile, what you find is, you know, through the bumps and things like that, it's a lot more harsh. Now with this tire on the same profile as factory, what we see is that it's got a very compliant ride, and it's very comfortable. So you can imagine that on a long drive, you know, you'll be very relaxed. I don't get as many transmissions of these bumps through the steering wheel on a variety of different road surfaces, including some of the construction zones through here, which we know is pretty bad with the patchwork. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is the steering feel. Like, we really love the Mazda because of the steering feel that this car's got. And I would say that, you know, we still have that, right? It's not really lost. So the car still feels very agile. And for those of you who enjoy a spirited drive, you'll still be able to have that with this tire. And the tire, you know, as a front wheel drive car, you might think that it'll break away, you know, in a bit more understeer characteristic. And in that way, it breaks away in a very predictable and, you know, progressive manner. Okay, so we're down here at a secret test location, and we're going to run a few technical tests for this tire. So the first of these tests is a rolling resistance test, and I have to be very honest, we had to redesign this test a few times, because the very first time we did this test, we did it from 50 kilometers per hour, and I ended up running out of road. Like, I was like stopping only because the hill sort of, you know, stopped me. So we're going to do this test from 30 kilometers an hour. So I'm coming up to 30 kilometers here up to the first cone, which is just about now. And I put the car into neutral. So the intention of this rolling resistance test is to show that as an eco tire, we expect the performance to be good. So we want the car to roll as far as it can, which means it's got less friction, which means that with every tank of fuel, you can go further, which is more savings into your pocket. Now, coming up now, how we go, we're slowing down 10 kilometers an hour. I'm gonna see if I can come up to this last cone. It might just be a little bit short. Okay, so we stopped here and it's about 120 meters. And this is quite impressive. It certainly surpassed our expectations for rolling resistance. Okay, so the next test we're gonna do is a braking test. Now I'm bringing the car up to speed now, and I'm gonna bring it up to 70 kilometers an hour and hit the brake. Oh, that was pretty rough. And I guess brakes is something that, you know, in a real world is going to save you from an accident. And you want to know with an eco tire that you're not making any compromises with safety. So when I come on the brakes just now, the good thing is with a car with ABS, a lot of the times, you know, if the tires aren't good, you will feel the shudder through the steering wheel and you can't brake with the confidence. And you can really feel the ABS kick in. But just now, it was really smooth and I pulled up in a much shorter distance than I expected. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing now, but the guys have wet the track. All right, so we're gonna do the same braking test now, but now it's wet. So I'm gonna bring the car up to 70 as before. Up to 70 now. And hitting the brakes. Whoa, okay. So definitely a bit further than before, which is what we expect with you know, a wet surface. It's a bit more slippery, but still very confident on the brakes. I was a little bit worried, but you know, the car didn't slide and you know, just went straight like an arrow. So I was very confident, and yeah, it was good for a wet stop. Okay, I'm just gonna secure everything in the cabin. The next test we're gonna do is a bit of an acceleration test. So I'm gonna put my left foot on the brake here and put it into drive. I'm gonna launch this car, get it up to 30k an hour. So I've got my left foot on the brake and bring the speed up and down, and then hit the brakes like that. Oh, okay. So what I can tell you in terms of feeling is I have a lot of confidence. There's no shudder through the steering wheel as the car is under hard acceleration and under hard braking, right? So I have a lot of confidence driving on this eco tire. So we're gonna do it wet. So build up some rev. Whoa, a lot more dramatic, but still stopping and accelerating in pretty short distance. You can definitely feel the tire slip, but the wet weather performance of this is still very, very strong from a hard launch. Okay, this next test that I've got is purely for my own enjoyment. I've just set up a few cones for a slalom run. I think the support crew is going to kill me if I keep like knocking cones over and have to go pick it up because it's getting quite hot in the day now. But I guess with the slalom run, what I want to try to do is just get a feel for the tire and how the car behaves as it changes direction quickly from left to right, right? Okay, coming up to the first cones now. So I'm gonna come through here. And yeah, I mean, it's doing it very easily without any problem. And yeah, that's it. No drama, which is what you want. Okay, so we've had a few days now to put the Falken ZE310 through its paces, and I want to talk to you about the top 3 things that we found from this. So the first thing was really the low road noise. So over a variety of surfaces, the tire was very, very quiet and there's very little intrusion into the cabin. The second thing I want to talk about is its comfort in terms of this ride and the journey that we had. So the tire and its design, you know, is very, very comfortable and it's great for a long drive. The last part was probably the most impressive, was the low rolling resistance. Now we all expect economy tire to have low rolling resistance to offer us savings. And this tire far surpassed all our expectations, so we had to redesign all our testing. And even then, you know, we didn't really have to compromise on the wet and dry grip of the tire. If you're looking for economy tire, please do put the Falken ZE310 onto your shopping list. Last bit of advice, if you want to maximize the economy of your existing tires, please do check your tire pressures regularly, once a week when the tires are cold. Thanks very much.